Virgos, hi guys, welcome back. Hey. All right, so I want to take a look at frequency change. Obviously, I was in a crystal mood, but I feel like there is an energetic shift or change occurring, and I want to take a look at what that is. So, what things are shifting or changing around Virgo? Okay, first off, we have High Priestess here, and that High Priestess shows us a crystal ball. We have obviously something about the future, like almost maybe Virgo is sensing something feels different here. It feels like Virgo needs to pay close attention to the messages from the ancestors. We may have an ancestor from the other side of the rainbow bridge, or maybe there's whatever Virgo's guide is. If Virgo has a spirit animal or a guide of sorts that visits them in any capacity, um, pay close attention. And so let me put it this way, something that keeps showing up in Virgo's world may be their messenger. For a long time, I would always smell skunk, and skunk is associated with boundaries. And it was at a time in my life where I probably needed to work on boundaries a little bit more. And, I was like, oh, that's interesting. But over time, I hardly ever smell skunk anymore, and I actually like the smell of skunk. Not too strong, right? Just like a sunburn. If you get burned or blistered, it's really painful. If you get just enough sun, it's can be good for you. But as with anything, you gotta be careful how much you get of it. But Virgo could have even a changing guide that starts showing up in their world, and it may behoove Virgo to figure out what that message is that the messenger is bringing in. But Virgo's already aware something feels off, something feels different. It has to do with my future. Either Virgo's timeline is going to be changing, and Virgo's sensing it, even though at the same time they can't quite see it. They can intuit it, but they don't see it exactly. Four of Wands, the Sun. If this Virgo thought that the way their life was going was a particular trajectory, the big surprise or big news here is Virgo could wind up becoming very, very, very much more domestic. Their life could take a left turn. This is a happily ever after. This is a marriage. This is running a bed and breakfast together with the divine counterpart. This is absolute happiness from a very different life. Maybe Virgo was like, oh, I love to travel. I love to do and go. And now it's like, or what's coming next, this energy shift is Virgo's life is about to actually, like, different things will make them happy than what they could have anticipated. Even a different location. It's somehow this is not what Virgo had pictured for themselves that would ever have made them happy, and yet this kind of shocking energy change is coming. And it's an energy change of, like, for Virgo, it's what makes Virgo happy. This is about feeling really welcomed, feeling home. Now we could say, well, Virgo's an earth sign, so wouldn't they want to be grounded? Wouldn't that make them happiest? Well, yes and no, because this is about putting down really deep roots. I mean, maybe we're dealing with a Virgo who was like, I'm more career oriented, I'm staying single, that's what I dedicated myself to. And this actually says that is changing. For this fictional character, that's changing. That's not where their happiness actually lies after all. Now, of course, a character gets to decide, right? But let's just say if we lived on a planet where we had never tasted the joys of ice cream, and then one day we did, and we didn't even know that that existed, think of what a delight that would be. Sometimes you can't imagine how wonderful something is if you've never had it before. And then when it comes into your life, you're like, oh God, this is what I like. I just didn't know because I never had it before. That's the way I would describe this. Maybe Virgo never had a happy relationship before. Maybe they had mediocre ones. Maybe they never felt grounded before. Maybe they never had that person that felt like their permanent home, and that's what they're about to have. This says a whole new layer of Virgo's heart is about to open up. A loving, soft, gentle. This is a very un-Virgo message, right? Because Virgo is a sign of service. This is somebody who's not going to have to go and toil and work. It's going to be a relationship where there's real partnership and there's open flow of emotion, but not like Virgo has to work to show signs of affection to somebody. I think relationship is about to get easy for Virgo. And I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that was an area of Virgo's life that was never easy before. And it's about to get easy. It's maybe they're going to meet somebody and it's like, oh, God, you're so easy to love. And it's so easy to have a relationship with somebody. Yeah, we have that Wheel of Fortune in the reverse. I'm going to say there was this huge boulder like sitting on the love hose for Virgo up until now. There was this huge giant boulder that was in Virgo's way. That's why they never had like this flow of emotion. They never had this before. It wasn't their time. The right person wasn't ready for them. They weren't ready for the right person. What was the boulder? Universe, can we just see? Because I'm just very curious, because this is the mechanism by which we are leveraging this blockage out of the way so Virgo can have all this. Literally, we have the Wheel of Fortune a second time. I say, what was it? And it says, Virgo, it wasn't time. I ask again, and it says, it wasn't time. The boulder was timing. Virgo could have dated many people, never had this level of happiness, because in truth, it wasn't time for them to find their divine counterpart. It wasn't time for Virgo to even be able to love somebody the way they're about to love someone. This person who's going to love Virgo, this timeline that Virgo is headed into, can we see anything about them? Seven of Swords, Ace of Cups. Virgo wouldn't believe it even if we did say it. It wouldn't matter. This says Virgo would be like, bull. If no matter what we say, Virgo will say, bull. No way. It's Virgo, whoever this is, I'm guessing it's somebody Virgo will say, there's no way that someone like that would love me, or there's no way that particular person would love me. So I don't know if this means this is somebody who's going to be like famous, or this is going to be like a person that Virgo, Virgo has known, but was like, that person doesn't love me. Right now, Virgo's not going to believe a word, no matter what we try to describe. All Virgo would maybe be willing to receive is, I could imagine that there is somebody out there that I could love and who could love me. Sure. I mean, that's, maybe I haven't found it yet, but things are possible. So no matter what we say, Virgo is going to say, I don't believe. If we give a name to this person, Virgo won't believe it. But Virgo can at least get down with the idea that I could picture someone would love me. But let me just push on this just a little teeny tiny bit. Universe, can we see anything about this person other than it's somebody Virgo will be like, baloney? It wouldn't be them. There's no way. The Sun, again, second time we've seen it, so strong Leo energy. Four of Cups, Ace of Wands. This is something that Virgo thought was an illusion. It's a person that Virgo either had no idea that they make this individual so happy, even though Virgo clearly has had passion, but this could also have been hidden passion on their part. Again, we have this hand with this cup of love. This is somebody who has loved Virgo for a long time, even though Virgo didn't know it. And that's probably why Virgo's like, baloney. No, there's nobody like that. This is someone who obviously has never expressed these emotions to Virgo. It's somebody that Virgo maybe, we can't see their face, right? So this is coming in Year of the Horse. But it is somebody who has loved Virgo, and Virgo would insist that couldn't be the case. Simply, it doesn't say Virgo didn't love them, or, it doesn't say that this is, that once this happens, Virgo won't be able to believe it. It's just, if Virgo was told this now, before this person has presented it to Virgo and come forward and said, this is how I feel about you, Virgo, I've actually been attracted to you for a long time. I've actually, had Virgo on my mind for a really, really long time. If they came up and said this today, Virgo won't believe it until they present it. If we tell Virgo this in this storyline, Virgo's going to be like, bull. There's no evidence to support that. And that's the case. There is no evidence yet because, again, we're dealing with timing. Virgo first had to have some blockages removed, and they themselves had to get into this new jet stream of energy. Can I go back and just ask a question only about Virgo? Because we're not going to get an answer on who this person is. It keeps saying Virgo wouldn't believe it anyway. No, not until it happens will Virgo believe it. So it's got to come straight from the horse's mouth. This person has to tell Virgo that they love them, and then Virgo will believe it. So it wouldn't matter what we say right now anyhow. Virgo would be like, nope, not possible. I will say this. The sun is very direct. The sun is, there's only one sun for us. It's a very, very bright star. And so I'm wondering if somebody is a star. Maybe this is somebody that Virgo is like, oh, that person is like local fame, or something like that. This could be a person who is even in the public eye. That could be at a small level, a big level, whatever it is. Maybe that's why there's this energy of disbelief somehow, or this is somebody who, like let's say, even in our own circle, let's say in the workplace, this is the boss. And it's like Virgo had no idea that the boss could have fallen in love with them. It could be something along those lines. But I want to go back and ask universe, as far as this new timeline opening up for Virgo and the fact that this shift is happening and this blockage is being removed, which is really about timing. Is there something different about Virgo? Is that what this boils down to? Is Virgo changing? Or was this like a maturity thing? Or was this an evolution thing? What is it? Two of Wands, Ace of Cups. On one hand, Virgo has always needed to get to the point where they would choose a different path for themselves. And as soon as they wanted to choose love, somewhere deep down, Virgo had to get to the point where, and remember we started with the High Priestess. High Priestess deals with the things that are in the subconscious. Maybe Virgo had to say, you know what? Deep down, I would be willing to make love a priority in a way I wasn't ready to before. So this could be Virgo was always after career first, because they're sitting here in a business and there's Boss Babe is written here on that clipboard. I wonder if Virgo used to primarily focus on work, which would make sense for a Virgo. And now something has changed deep within themselves and they've said, I actually think I'd love to have a partnership. That would become Virgo's new priority. Instead of being like a workaholic, now Virgo would have better life balance and they would be able to say, I would definitely want a partnership now. And that may have been Virgo's biggest transformation within themselves deep down. And again, this is the subconscious side of ourselves that where real truths are held. These are hard things to get in touch with and acknowledge within ourselves because it's the stuff that that's where our motive comes from. And we don't always understand our own motive, but Virgo might've been very driven to, become very successful in career and, they were very task oriented. They were very work oriented. And that could be for a lot of different reasons. That could be fear of poverty that pushed Virgo really hard to make something solid in their lives. That could be somebody who just, loved learning and wanted to explore and expand. And they wanted to, rise in a company and they wanted to just pursue their hobbies and, their talents. It could have been of necessity. It could have been of fear. It could have been of, sheer enjoyment. And so career path or work-related path was more important for a long time for this Virgo. And now love, relationship is very important to Virgo. It's a whole different experience for Virgo. And I think it's because they've made it. This is a Virgo who, they've put in the time, the effort, they've explored a whole bunch of things in self-development and career development and work-related things. And now they want love to be the next frontier, if you will. Do we have any final message, universe, for our Virgo here? Wheel of Fortune upright, Two of Cups. That is a very cohesive video. Virgo, I'm going to ask you guys again, if you would like a part 2 to this, tell me in the comments. If I get at least 100 people that say, number 2, and 500 likes, I'll do a part 2 for this for you guys. And we'll dig in and see if we can figure out anything else about this. But I'll only do it if enough of you want it, because that lets me know, okay, there's enough desire for this particular storyline. If not, we'll move on and we'll go to the next topic that I'll pick. All right, you guys, thanks so much for being here. Thanks again for giving it a thumbs up, subscribing. If this is where we part ways, awesome. If not, then I will be delighted to honor your requests as soon as I see, enough people are interested. Take care. Bye.